Welcome to the Coriolis Effect with Cory Oliver.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver. Thanks for watching the Coriolis Effect. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we hope you like this episode. Hi guys, we wanted to announce that like many podcasters, we just started a Patreon account. Visit our page at patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect. We have 5 different levels of membership and offer early access to episodes, behind-the-scenes footage, bonus episodes, shoutouts, and much more, including personal phone calls, questions and answer sessions, and live chats with Bob and me. That's patreon.com/the Coriolis Effect.
Our friends over at Underdog Podcasts wanted our listeners to know about the fun event they're having. A completely free poker tournament, no credit card required to enter, and you can win real prizes. The tournament, the Underdog Free Roll Invitational, will be held Sunday, July 11 at 12:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Registration is now open. Simply head over to Ignition Casino at ignitioncasino.eu. Just go to Poker, Play Now, Tournaments, then scroll to July 11. Tournaments are listed in chronological order, so go to July 11 at 3:05 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Underdog Free Roll Invitational will be listed where you can click Register and enter in the exclusive password Underdog21. That's UNDERDOG21. Any player who knocks a host out of the tournament will receive an extra bonus, as there are bounties on all of the Underdog hosts. Once again, that's the Underdog Free Roll Invitational, July 11 at ignitioncasino.eu, and you can enter 100% for free with the code Underdog21.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Cory. How are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
I'm very well. What's going on?
I see you have a new t-shirt on. Is this the theme? Each show we're going to have a new t-shirt. Save time, let's just assume I'm never wrong.
Yes. No, I have a lot of... I learned that you wear the same 5 shirts your whole life. And...
This is true, and let me tell you about this shirt. But you go ahead.
I guess my story's over. No, that's okay. You go ahead.
No, your story's not
You're more important. Go ahead.
No, I'm actually not a more important.
You're not a more important?
I'm not a more important.
So you wear the same 5 shirts all the time, and I have like 100 t-shirts, so I'm trying to recycle and wear the t-shirts. You know the difference between LIFO and FIFO?
What?
LIFO, L-I-F-O, and FIFO,
I've
F-I-F-O.
never even heard of that.
They're accounting terms. Stands for last in, first out,
right.
or first in, first out.
Right.
Well, the t-shirts in my drawer are LIFO, so the last 5 I put in are left. And when Irina puts my socks and unmentionables away, she refuses to take the ones on the bottom, put them on the top, and put the washed ones on the bottom, so they recycle. So you wind up wearing the same 5 pairs of socks, same 5 pairs of underwear, all the same.
What's an unmentionable?
Underwear.
Oh.
It's unmentionable. You never heard that?
No.
Unmentionables?
No, yeah. Just underwear.
Well, you can, but in the 50s it was unmentionables. Not that I grew up in the 50s, but...
Oh, right. That's where you go.
All right, so...
my shirt, however, since we are talking about
very nice. Is that what you're wearing today? Looks nice.
Yes, but do you want to know the story behind this shirt?
Found it in a dumpster?
A friend of mine, Valerie, and I used to go in between our child's water polo tournaments.
Okay.
And we'd hit the
bargain
Goodwills.
bins?
Yeah. And I got this shirt for 89 cents.
Wow.
I'm not kidding. I love it. I know you're probably thinking, well, it looks like it, but it's not. It's
Have you worn it 89 times?
Junk is another woman's treasure, and I love secondhand stores, so I'm a huge thrift shopper. I love it. Done.
There's when I was in high school, I never wore sweaters, and my girlfriend at the time said, "You need to wear sweaters." Fine. So I went to the mall and I bought a sweater, and it cost like $90, and this is in 1983. So I told myself, I'm going to wear this 180 times, so it comes down to 50 cents a wear. And I would literally keep track. Every time I wore it, I'd keep track of my friends. How many times? Like 75. So I had to get it to 180. Yeah,
do you still have the sweater?
No. I was thrown out in one of my first wife's cleaning the closet eras.
Ooh, you're a 2XL
That's a sore subject.
too.
That's a very sore subject.
Yeah, we don't even go there on this show anymore because we've all gotten it all out, and we are moving forward and have loves in our lives, and it's all wonderful.
Okay.
So,
who's our guest?
Our guest today is, this is one of those moments, well, I've had many of them on this show, where you literally go, wow, I can't believe I'm getting to interview this person. It's almost every guest. Victoria Jackson. She did 6 seasons.
SNL.
From SNL. She did 6 seasons on SNL. She's an actress, a comedian, a singer, a songwriter, an author. She went through a battle of breast cancer. She wrote a book called Lavender Hair.
Okay.
She's just one of those people that you immediately fall in love with. And I did back then. I just loved her spirit. She had a sweet spirit on SNL. And so hopefully we'll dive into her story and her testimony and just a lot of what she has done and what she's been doing. So I'm very excited. She's very sweet.
She was one of the best character actors, or I guess sketch actors. What do they call them?
Yes, and she has a YouTube show called I don't want to screw this up. The Vicky Wiki Wacky Jackson Show.
Vicky Wiki Wacky Jackson Show.
Yes, and it's
say it 3 times.
Vicky Wiki Wacky Jackson
say it once.
Show. The Vicky Wiki Wacky Jackson Show, and it is very well done. And she has a lot of footage and information, and she's just very funny. So
is it her? Or is it a?
It's
like
her,
Carol
and
Burnett
it's a
kind of show,
compilation of things. You know, she edits it, I believe, herself.
Oh, cool.
And she does a great job. But she's really wonderful, and I can't wait to talk about her. And her
Me
daughters
either.
are doing great things too. She has 2 daughters, and they're also authors, and just they're just wonderful. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to talking to her.
yes, me too.
Or I look forward to listening to you talk to her.
Well, you're going to talk too.
Nah, I don't.
Because you're never wrong. Clearly, we
That's true.
established that in the beginning of this
we have
conversation.
to say that out loud. I mean, everybody just knows that, right?
Yes.
All right. See you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
ShieldsOfStrength.com was created by Kenny Vaughn. Kenny loves to keep God and country close to your heart by wearing Shields of Strength American flag dog tags. These attractive pieces of Christian jewelry are available in a range of styles and shapes, and some have enamel detailing to bring vibrant colors to the stars and stripes motif. Each dog tag necklace features an engraved scripture to bring strength and comfort to the wearer, making it an excellent gift idea for police officers, soldiers, and firefighters who face adversity in the call of duty, or anyone with a strong sense of patriotism. Stainless steel American flag necklaces and dog tags are easy to clean, are stylish enough for wearing with any outfit, and are the perfect way to express love for your country and unshakable faith in God. ShieldsOfStrength.com has a variety of cross necklaces, books, apparels, accessory, Mother's Day gifts, fitness, even gift certificates. Shop ShieldsOfStrength.com. It's really, really...
Hey, let's start the show.
Let's start the show, yes. I have to wait for Bob to say that until we actually start the show. So I will
Bob
say...
likes to be in control.
Bob likes to be in control. Good morning, Victoria Jackson. I'm just going to say that right now, that she is on the show. Actress, comedian, SNL alumni, 6 seasons on
Stumbling,
SNL.
bumbling Jesus follower.
Jesus follower, singer, songwriter, mother of 2 beautiful daughters. And I have been following her / your, I'm looking into the camera, career for years. And so to be able to be here today and talk to you about your life and just all that you're doing is an honor and a privilege for me today. So thank you for being on our show.
Thank you, Cory. I'm so happy to be here.
And we do share a lot in common in so many areas of our lives, and we'll get into that. But first, we do have a word of the day.
Do we?
You don't?
I do.
Oh, no, we can skip it.
No, we're not.
It's a phobia word, which we're going to transition out of that because I don't think we
What
should
did I
live
say
in
about
fear.
negativity?
Okay. Go ahead, Bob.
We have to train Cory to be positive in everything she does.
Oh my God. I'm the most positive you'll ever know. Okay, go
Victoria,
ahead.
every show we have a phobia and we ask the guest to guess which phobia this is. And this phobia is
Venustrophobia.
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 Venustra phobia. Venustrophobia.
V as in Victor, E-N?
Yes. U.S. like the planet Venus.
Oh, fear of Venus?
Nope.
I love
Venustrophobia. That would be a. Sorry.
her. You're already
Cory, go ahead.
gonging our guess. I don't know.
Think of Venus. What was Venus?
A planet. Fear of planets.
She was the goddess of
Hair?
love.
Love. Oh,
so it's the fear
I don't
of-
know that.
So
This
it's
is
the
why I don't know.
So it's the fear of.
Love.
No, it's the fear of beautiful women.
Oh my gosh. What?
Well, Venus was a beautiful
Do
woman.
you have that?
Me? Yes.
Yes.
Get all tongue tied? Nah.
Oh my goodness.
That's why I'm not
can
gonna
we get
talk
to
this show.
Victoria because she has I have spent the last week watching her YouTube show, which is called the Vicky Wiki Wacky Jackson Show. It is amazing. It's informative. It dives into your life in such a beautiful way. I'm hooked. I'm obsessed. I literally don't take this the wrong way, but I didn't even want to leave my computer today to come do this interview because I was so engrossed in this show. Your show is so great. I love it. I love it. I love
a lot to me because, I quit doing it.
I know, but I'm like hooked on it. Like I just want to I don't know why you quit.
Well, I appreciate that because I was thinking I would like to see a show like that. I mainly wanted to show people what Christian conservatives are like. They don't just sit around being a bigot, which we're not. They actually have many sides to their personalities, but it was kind of like a little test for me because I was in film school learning to edit. And but you know who has a great YouTube channel? China Phillips.
I saw that on your website. I know she does. You're right.
Have you watched
Wilson Phillips?
Wilson Phillips. I did. Right. I actually didn't until I had read that on your page, and then I went to it and I was like, "Ooh, this is good. This is great."
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Okay, I was thinking to myself, why is hers so much better than mine? Okay, she's skinnier, younger, prettier. But besides that, Venus-trophobia, besides that, she's on fire for the Lord in a way that's so more passionate than me because I've been a Christian since I was 6. And I had a good dad who was a Baptist deacon, and she had a heroin addict dad. So that makes her show a little more interesting to me. Her testimony is a little bit more exciting. Also, she's, has a famous husband. I don't. She lives in Santa Barbara. I don't. So, but her.
But other than that.
But so I was thinking, no wonder why she has 50,000 subscribers and I have 400,
Well, you had 50,000, I saw, and on your Facebook, and then
No, I had 2,000, and then they locked me out.
Yes, we have experienced here on the Coriolis Effect some censorship as well. So we definitely have that in common. We did a whole episode on, we won't say the name because I don't want this to get censored, but a very famous scientist, if you will, and they just wiped out the whole episode and gave us a spanking and took the whole thing down and said we couldn't post for a week. So we do have that in common. It's unfortunate.
It's communism or dictatorship. It's the end of freedom of speech, which means the end of freedom of thought. It's going to make Christianity illegal. So we, every day at 3, John and this little group, we pray for our country, specifically in detail. We pray for God to have a revival, to take over our government and make it freedom again. And we, because only God's going to help us. Of course, God might be judging America now. We might be under judgment because we have not obeyed him for so long, as a country. But
the Bible says the prayers of a righteous man availeth much. So I would never stop praying. I've been blessed to be a leader in an organization called Moms in Prayer, which I'm sure you've heard of. It used to be Moms in Touch.
I never heard of it.
Oh, it's amazing. And it's just, Fern Nichols started it years and years and years ago to cover her grandkids and her kids at the schools. And now it's international. Every single school has a prayer group. Sometimes they're secret, sometimes not. But I've definitely seen and witnessed firsthand the power of prayer. And the Bible says when 2 or more are gathered, there he is in the midst. And when there's a cord of 3, it cannot be broken. And so I really believe that, that's our greatest weapon. It's our greatest tool. And Bob knows there's nothing too big or small that we can pray about. So I love that you are praying for this great nation because we need it. We definitely need it.
I want to tell you that those feet right there and that head is my mother.
I love your mom. Hi, Mom.
She just moved in with me. She's 88 and she was just snoring a couple minutes ago. What?
You guys on episode 9, you guys sang a song together and it was so beautiful. What song was that called?
Well, it might have been a hymn because we love the old Baptist hymns.
It was a hymn.
Was it on a hill far away? Was it Old Rugged Cross? Was it that one?
I don't remember. I watched it. It was so beautiful. It was just so beautiful. She was
Thank you.
outside and you were filming her.
Well, we sold her house. That was the porch. And because she's getting forgetful and we don't think she should be alone. And so we're all adjusting to this new situation. But it's kind of a blessing because Jesus is here and she loves Jesus and she taught us all about him. So
tell me then, let's talk about that because you mentioned that you have been a Christian since you were 6. Do you remember the moment that God kind of came into your heart? Can you talk about that? Ooh, I love it.
yes, what age were you when you became a Christian?
You know, I love her. She's so cute. She's asked me.
I'm sitting right here. I hear it.
I was raised a Christian. I don't remember a time that I didn't believe,
Right.
just because I was immersed in it with both sides of my family. But I would say around 12 is when it just really hit me hard. And then throughout my life, you know, you are raised in a religion, but then trials and tribulations and things happen, and then it becomes a relationship, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that you were 6. I mean, that's young. I would love to know that story.
It's weird because when I look at you, my eyes go that way, but you're really over here. It's very confusing. Okay, well, what I remember is I learned how to read at age 6, 5 or 6. And I was in church 3 times a week, Carroll City Baptist Church, Wednesday, Sunday, and Sunday. And I think because I had learned to read that the gospel made sense to me. When he said John 3:16 and I could read the words, I think it was like ding, you know, like a little light. And I told my dad, I want to ask Jesus into my heart. And I knew that was a metaphor. And I knew that there was lots of different ways to say it. Get saved, be born again. I knew that I could only think of 2 sins. And I said, Jesus, please forgive me for my sins. Me and my dad knelt by my bed with my stuffed dog Happy on my bed. And I said, thank you for dying on the cross for my sins. I could only think of 2. I was mean to my brother twice, but I got the concept that I would probably be sitting in the future.
That is adorable. A lot, she goes.
It's amazing like that a 6-year-old brain could get the concept. But the Bible is so beautiful because it's simple enough for a childlike faith, but it's so complicated. Not complicated, what's the word? It's so deep and rich that you could study theology and soteriology and eschatology for your whole lifetime and still keep learning new things. But
It's true.
And you can get it. 6 years old, 5 years old, right? So
Yes.
yeah, so I got the concept, and then I went forward at church to make it a public confession because it says if we confess him before men, Jesus will confess us before his Father in heaven. And I got that. If you'll confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus and believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. And I
Here comes Mom.
Mom's up.
Mom's coming.
Mom's up.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
show how fast you can walk. Show how fast. Don't tell them where I'm going.
We can do it, her shirt says. Look at her go. I love her.
I'll speed it up in the replay.
It's so wonderful.
Where when I started singing hymns and coloring my hair with bobby pins, I thought the transformation is complete.
Right.
I'm my mother.
Well, your mom did such a solid because, you know, as a mother myself, I have a 22-year-old and she is the love of my life. And, you know, the Bible says, teach your children the ways of the Lord when they're young, and when they get old, they won't depart from it. And, you know, most of us, when we're taught young, we have a season where we try to go our own way, right? Stevie Nicks song, go your own way. But then something happens and then you rely on God and you press in and you seek him, right? And it just becomes more real. For me anyway, this was my journey. But I love that at 6 years old, that's a pretty impactful thing to go through and to grasp, the magnitude of it. That's pretty cool. That's a lot. That's amazing.
Then we were in a Christian school and we had to memorize Bible verses for every week and be tested, and had to be exactly word perfect from the King James. And that was the greatest gift in my childhood, because Bible verses come into my head all the time, just the perfect one when I need it, all the time. And I would recommend everyone to memorize scripture. It goes deep in your heart and your brain, and it just comes out right when you need it. It's God talking to you. And yeah, I try to read the Bible every day, and that's the secret to life.
And your kids too. I read all about your daughters, and your daughter has written a couple books, and it's just a legacy you give them, and it's a gift. It's a powerful gift that you give them, because Scripture is, obviously Scripture, but like you said, it's good. You can recall it for yourself, but you can also recall it for others in moments, strangers on the street or wherever you are, right?
Yeah. I want to tell you that the last episode of The Chosen, the best Jesus series ever made, best Jesus film ever made, and I love how the guy plays Jesus so much. He's so peaceful and so funny and so much love. I mean, the last episode was talking about Mary Magdalene having what do you call it? Backsliding. Baptists call it backsliding. What do you call it when you leave the Lord and you kind of go back into your old bad habits? That's
off the wagon.
Yeah, stuff like that. Anyway, and then she came back to the Lord, crying. And Mom,
I just love you, Mom.
I love you too, but
I love you.
So
who am I? Well, first and foremost, I'm a sister in the Lord with you and your daughter, and I have been a huge fan of your daughters for a very long time. And I'm in the entertainment industry. I did a little movie you might have seen called God's Not Dead. That's a Christian.
That's where you look familiar from.
My favorite episode. This is my favorite episode by far. I just love you guys.
I'm in the middle of an interview with Cory.
Who is that?
It's very important.
What?
What are the healthy mattresses for backs?
Oh,
Posturepedic.
Well, my dad said if it's firm, it's good for your back.
So as long as
You want to get him a Posturepedic
Firm as
mattress.
possible.
I love
you.
I
we love you too.
love you. 3 generations.
Was that your daughter?
Yeah.
Well, that was your daughter.
That was my daughter, the Christian author.
Yeah, she wrote a book called He Numbered the Pores on My Face, and another one called Afraid of All the Things, right?
And her new book is on Amazon, pre-order now, and it's called The Worst Person in the World.
I love her videos because she talks a lot about, just how she feels. And I love that book, He Numbered the Pores on My Face. Oh my goodness. So the worst person in the world, I'm getting that.
I think the whole title is You're the Worst Person in the World. And then there's a long subtitle.
Yeah. No, she's amazing. Scarlett, right? Or not Scarlett.
Scarlett with 1 T.
Scarlett with 1 T, right. So
I can't believe you have a 22-year-old daughter. That's impossible.
I
You
do.
look like you're 22.
No.
She gave birth when she was 6.
No, I do. She's the love of my life, and she has a great story, a testimony as well. That's a whole other episode. But I want to just get into you because I used to watch you on SNL, Saturday Night Live, where you were on for 6 seasons. That's an amazing thing, and And I remember watching you, and you stood out for me because I could see your sweet spirit. And now I know, now that I'm older, I know what that was, right? It's just that spirit to spirit. But I was telling a friend of mine that you were going to be on today, and she said, oh my gosh, I would love to know how she got the SNL
Yes,
job.
that's $1 million question. And let me just say, it's hard to be a Christian in show business. Don't you agree, Cory?
It's very hard. And yes.
It's so hard. It's like there's so many difficult choices, and it's hard in any industry. Like when my husband was on the SWAT team in Miami, he was like the only Christian on the SWAT team. And I'd be like, why did you go to that bar after work? And, you're a Christian. And then, people would say, well, why did you do that movie? And at SNL, we had to write our own stuff. But there was a couple times I was like, I don't know if a Christian should be doing this. And one time I kind of got tricked into something. One time I told Lorne Michaels, the producer, I had to wait an hour because he's very important. And I had a private meeting. And I said, Lorne, I don't think I can do this sketch because it involved, it was pretty much making fun of a born-again Christian. And it was so hard to get airtime or to get lines that I was thrilled when I saw someone had written me a sketch that was just me. In the middle, and I thought, well, Christians should be made fun of if they were like Tammy Faye Bakker back, and that was the time in the 80s, and she was crying mascara, and they were committing adultery and all this stuff, and I'm like, well, that's kind of fair game, but and our show was making fun of people, which is not Christian. So like when I had to be, Mom, you're kind of distracting, walking in the background. Can you sit over there? Because
I love her. I'm loving Mom. Mom, I love you.
My dad taught me this is an old vaudeville trick. Someone is singing opera and someone behind them is like, doing jumping jacks or,
I know.
And the person singing thinks all the applause and laughter is for them, and they keep singing louder. And okay, she's doing the bottom. So anyway, it's hard to be Christian. So Lorne, I said, Lorne, I said, Lorne, in the middle of the sketch, I'm supposed to kneel down and pray. And I'm afraid either A, I will start crying because I think prayer is really talking to God, or B, I think I'll get struck with lightning because it's blaspheming God.
That'd make good TV.
Yeah.
That would be good TV if that happened.
I was trying to be open-minded, it's, comedy. But I told him that, and he says, I understand. You don't have to do it.
Aww.
And he gave it to Julia Sweeney, and she did it. She's an ex-Catholic who wrote a play about becoming an atheist, and it's called Letting Go of God. Well, back then she was sort of a Catholic, and she did it, and nobody laughed, so it never got on the air. But those are instances of where a Christian, And then I was in the movie Casual Sex, which is not pro-casual sex, it's anti-casual sex, but I didn't write it, and I was a breadwinner with a husband who didn't work and a baby, and, it was like they didn't have any nudity or any bad words in it when I signed on to do it. And so, there's gray areas, but yeah.
No, I'll say this because I totally hear what you're saying, but on my daughter's first day of 6th grade, she went to Oaks Christian out here where I live. It was a private school, and I was driving into school, and the Escalade in front of me had a bumper sticker on it, and it said it best. It said, Christians aren't perfect. They're just forgiven by a God who is. And so oftentimes as Christians, we get persecuted and ridiculed because we are expected to be perfect. But the fact is we're not. One of my friends says, I suck and I need a savior, right? And that's Jesus. And so it's a misconception, I think, that's out there. And we aren't perfect, but we do love the Lord, and we love God and Jesus, and And it is difficult in this business to make those choices. And
Yeah. And we're all judging each other, but we're supposed to be held to a higher standard. It says, do not be conformed to this world,
yes.
but transformed by the renewing of your minds, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. So, iron sharpens iron, whatever the cliches, but we are supposed to be, like I love watching China's show. She's so transparent about her faith journey and the struggles, and it doesn't, you're not perfect every day, and she wants to trust the Lord more, and so do I, and I just love watching her channel. And then Beckett Cook, he used to be gay, Beckett Cook.
Yes.
And his testimony is so strong, and he's so on fire for the Lord too, in a show business world where it's so uncool to be a believer. I just admire so much people who say, I believe in Jesus, and they're in show business, because, well, first of all, you'll lose your career. But besides that, it's not cool. It's not cool to be a Christian. And I admire the people who are so much. And then I watch some, YouTubes that are criticizing other Christians, and we have to base everything on the Word of God. So, when Beth Moore and John MacArthur have a thing, I love both of them, and I hear both of them, and I have my own opinions, but it's okay. What is the Bible? Work out your salvation with fear and trembling. I always think about that. It's like we should work out our salvation because God made us all unique, but with fear and trembling, really respecting God, not I can do this sin, I can do this sin, I'm forgiven. Not like that, but really respectful, Anyway, I just love how China walks her faith out on there. And I sort of wished my channel show would have been like that, but I don't know why I was struggling with it. I think I have some personal things I'm struggling with that I can't really say on the air. And I feel like I can't be completely transparent. And maybe someday I can, but I can't really talk about them. And
I understand, but I do like what your friend said. I think it was Michelle, is it Pilar? She said that if we're still alive, we have something left to do. And then what popped up on the screen was 2 Corinthians 4:16. Therefore, we do not lose heart. Things outwardly, we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day.
Yes.
And that's such a great scripture, right?
Thank you, Jesus.
All right.
And I told my mom today, Mom, you're almost 88, but the Bible says even in old age, you are fresh and flourishing. Those are the words in Psalms, fresh and flourishing. It also says you can bear fruit in old age, and the gray hair is a crown of glory. And so, so it's all good. The Bible has so much hope for every situation.
So much. And as you stated, it's like I've read mine over and over and over and over and over and over again, and I get different stuff from different verses depending on what I'm going through in my life, right? Yes. But I do have to go back to how you got SNL, the Saturday Night Live gig. Because my friend is not going to let me live this down unless I know. And, that I know you were on, I've got all these notes. I've been up for days because I've been so excited to be with you today. You were on the Tonight Show 20 times. You've sang at the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, you have had such an amazing, amazing career.
It's like the third person we've had on the show that sung at the Grand Ole Opry.
I know, but it's not an easy thing to get either. No. But I believe it was Johnny Carson that noticed you, right?
Okay. Tell you how I got on Saturday Night Live. How does a Baptist girl from Carroll City, Florida, which is what's a nice word for a ghetto?
There isn't one.
Project.
Oh,
yes.
From there, how does she get on Saturday Night Live? It's a great question. So there's a short answer and a long answer. I'm going to give you how many minutes do you have?
We've got
40.
40? Okay, that's my dog Hezekiah.
I know. I live.
Okay, so the short answer is I auditioned. The long answer is I just wanted to tell you this Bible verse I read today. My times are in your hand. My times are in. You know that verse? Our times are. Anyway, I can't find it. My times are in your hands. Okay. So what happened was, when I was a teenager, my dad said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "I don't know." And he goes, "Well, if you could be anything, what would you be?" And I said, "Well, I would be Maria and the Sound of Music, and I would have 7 children in matching outfits and play my ukulele on the top of a mountain and be married to the captain and live in a mansion." And he goes, that sounds like an actress. And I never thought of that. I just thought, I want to be Maria.
Right.
I didn't ever want to be an actor. I mean, we didn't have a TV. And, he said most of the shows were sinful because Love American Style was pro-adultery and fornication. The Love Boat was pro-adultery and fornication, But on weekends, I saw Laugh-In at my grandmother's house when she was babysitting. And interestingly, 20 years later, my stand-up act I made up happened to steal from Henry Gibson when he said a poem by Henry Gibson, Ukulele by Tiny Tim, and Ditziness from Goldie Hawn. So TV is powerful. And when children get images in their head, I mean, it's so sad, the images that they're getting now.
Yes.
So, because I was a strong Christian and those images, what happened was, my dad goes, "I don't recommend show business because Christianity and show business do not mix well. But," he goes, "if that's what you want to be, give it 100%. That's kind of an interesting sentence.
It really is.
So I went to Florida Bible College and for a year, and I realized that all you could be there was a preacher's wife or a Christian school teacher. And I loved poetry, and so I wanted to be an English major. So I got a scholarship to Furman for gymnastics because my dad was a gymnastics coach, and he made me do it my whole childhood, even though he said I was genetically inferior.
Oh, wait, 1 second. I know what gymnastics means because you said it means naked.
It does.
I know. I watched that episode. It means naked. I had no idea.
You really watched my show.
I'm not kidding. I'm telling you, I have pages and pages. I'm fascinated. You went to the gym. You got dressed to go to the gym. I'm telling you. Okay, so anyways,
undressed to go to the gym.
Yeah, right.
So I'm in Christian school, and they're like, modesty. Your skirt has to be 1 inch above the knee or longer. This is the 70s. And then I go to the gym, and they're like, be naked and spread your legs apart on top of your dad's head. And I'm like, it was so hard for my brain to but I thought there must be a loophole for athletes. Because my dad's a Baptist deacon, I'm in a leotard, and all the girls would go like, "Jim, could we wear shorts on top of our leotard?" Because we were embarrassed,
Yeah.
And he's like, no, shorts ruins the line, the aesthetic line of. But then on the other hand, my dad never told a dirty joke. There was nothing lascivious there at all. There was nothing carnal in that gym. It was little girls jumping up and down, doing back handsprings on a 4-inch board, which is unbelievable.
Wow.
And their mothers were all, "Oh, look, the next Olga Corbett." Anyway. So that's one of my issues, the whole naked thing. So then I'm an English major, and my gymnastics scholarship ended because my coach was mean to me, and she didn't tell me I made small college nationals. And so I never got to go to the meet, which I hated gymnastics anyway. But so I said, "Dad, I told you she hated me." She didn't. And he found out that my name had been called at the nationals, and so they fired her from Furman. And then I was walking around the campus, and I had some free time because I wasn't working out 5 hours a day like my whole life. And my friend was auditioning for a play, and I went with her. And then Rhett Bryson, the drama professor, he said, "Why don't you audition?" I go, "I don't know anything about acting." He goes, "Well, just read these lines." And it was a part of a ditz. And I got the part. And when I was in front of the audience saying these lines, and I made them laugh with my feather duster because I was a Roman slave, it was the greatest feeling of the world. What a drug. What a drug. My favorite drug. So I was like,
By the way, one of the hardest things in the industry is to be a comedian. That's just the hardest gig in the industry, right?
I think comedy's harder than the other stuff. Yeah. It's kind of magical, like what makes people laugh, because John Belushi, like I never saw SNL before I was on it, but I saw clips here and there, but he was like, when he had that sword, the samurai sword, I thought that's not funny. He's cutting a sandwich with a sword. Like that's not funny at all to me. Or when the shark came in the door, or he was in a bumblebee costume, it was like, but I couldn't take my eyes off of him, and he made me happy. And I don't know why, but whenever John Belushi was on screen, I could not take my eyes off him. So it's kind of mysterious to me what makes people laugh, Yeah. And the other interesting thing is it makes everybody laugh. And it's like everyone's so different, yet everyone knows when something funny happens. Yeah. And it's so hard to analyze. I've tried to analyze it for my whole life, and I don't know. So long story short, I was like, I have to get that feeling again. So then I found out it's super hard to get an acting job. A role.
It's an act of God getting an acting job, right?
Yes. Or a role, or doing it for free. So I couldn't afford Furman anymore, so I went to Auburn in Alabama, and I became a theater major. I couldn't get a speaking role. I was like, the two girls who slept with everyone, they got all the good roles.
I wonder why.
I kept thinking, how come she's the star of every play? And so one day, one of the students was doing a lesbian play called The Killing of Sister George. And we had to talk with a British accent, which I don't know how.
Pretty good.
She would offer me the role of Childie in this lesbian relationship. This was like 79 or 80. Like, gay was not all over the work screens. It was a very...
By the way, I will say this. I do like your LGBT joke. It's pretty good.
What's the joke?
Which one?
Dibs.
Oh, I love that joke. Okay, let me tell it.
Okay, tell it.
This LGBTQ thing has really been good for my marriage, because I used to get jealous when a pretty girl would walk by, but now my husband and now I just go, dibs. Dibs.
I literally was laughing out loud when I was watching that, and my dad, who is with me, he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, you got to come see this." So that was a great one, good one.
Oh, you have so cheered me up, because I thought nobody's watching my little show, but
they are
moments. But anyway, so where was I? So she goes, I could be Childie in this play with the lesbian lover of mine was supposed to be the strict mean one, Sister George, and I was supposed to be the ditzy victim of her, which I've been in relationships where I am, and I totally get it why I was cast like that. Anyway. So long story short, I was, oh man, I'm a Christian. And I said to the director, well, her name's Becky, and I appreciate she gave me a role with a lot of lines. I couldn't get any lines. Like, they gave me the part of vibrata, and funny thing happened on the way to the forum, so I would do gymnastics with lion hair, but I didn't have lines. And then they gave me, things with no lines. So Sister George, I had lots of lines. It was wonderful. And So I said, well, I'm a Christian, so I'm not going to kiss her on the mouth. There was one scene where I had to kiss her. I go, I can't do that because I'm a Christian. And then she goes, oh, okay. I go, I'll hug her. She goes, okay. That's why I say it's hard to be a Christian. It's like, I'm artistic. I love everyone. I get it. But like, there's just this line. I just can't do that. That's like in Casual Sex. I told the director I can't be naked, but we'd already started the movie, and it was she hadn't asked me before. And then she wanted my butt to be naked. I said, but I'm getting a massage, and my character is shy, and my character is her first massage. Why would she show her butt naked at her first massage when she's the shy one? And we had a thing. I had a thing. She said, I'm the director. And, it gets difficult. Anyway, so yes.
But to that point, I always tell my daughter, it's that check in your spirit. If it goes against the grain, or that check in your spirit, then stand up for yourself and just say, no, thank you. No, I'm not going to do this. Can't do it. Because you know that if you do it, and I've done things, I've gone against the check in my spirit, and then I go, oh,
yeah,
you tried to tell me, God, right?
Yeah. Yes. My first movie, The Pickup Artist, I was supposed to play Lulu, and she didn't have any nudity or bad words, but I went to my preacher, Harold Lane, First Baptist Pasadena, and I said, Pastor Lane, should I turn this part down because it's a bad girl? Like maybe God will bless me with some really good parts, or should I do it because I'm not naked or saying bad words or anything? And he said, well, I think you should be the best Christian mother and wife you can in real life and be the best actress you can in your career life. And I said, okay.
Kind of what your dad said.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, but like what you just said, your spirit kind of, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done it. But I never did get a good role after Casual Sex. So I'm kind of wondering was I listening to God? I don't know. I don't think the movie's that bad, but my butt is naked, and I feel like that's kind of hurt my testimony a little bit. I don't know. But anyway, it's work out yourself. I mean, how do we walk the walk? We're in a carnal world and we're flesh, and it's a daily thing, right?
Yes. It's absolutely a daily thing. And you know what? We're all human. And I don't think it hurt your testimony at all. I think you have a testimony. All of our tests become our testimony. All of our messes become our message. And so I say to everyone, everybody has a mugshot. Some people it ends up on the front cover of a magazine. Some people but we all have some kind of thing that we've gone through. We're all in this life together, and we're all here to help, inspire, and encourage one another. And if we can somehow, some way turn our pain into our purpose, and it's helped one person, then it's worth it. It's just worth it. We're not perfect. But so back to the SNL, because I'm not letting this slide, Missy. So I heard that I heard that, and this was back in the day too. I was, people would say to me, "Oh, you should try out for SNL," which and Bob's going, "Really, you?"
No,
but,
you didn't.
But you had to, and I don't know if you had to, but you could at the time, and maybe it's still the case. You'd make 3 of your own sketches, put them on tape, and
VHS.
And the VHS, yes. You have a whole thing on VHS on your. And then they would go to the committee and Lauren, and they'd all, review these tapes. Is that how you auditioned?
No, I didn't even know about that.
Oh.
Okay. So what happened was I realized that I couldn't become an actress in college. I was like, I have to do it for real. I can't afford college anymore. My parents didn't have any money. So I was like, I auditioned for Birmingham summer stock, and I was in the chorus line. I got $600 for the summer, and it was my first paid acting job, and it was super fun. And Johnny Crawford was flown in to be the lead in Me in St. Louis. And so he was like a has-been actor. Like he was a child star in The Rifleman with Chuck Connors, and he had already been a star and then had a singing career in his teen years, and then become a regular at the Playboy Mansion. And he never believed in marriage. He was not a Christian. He's charming and has old-fashioned romantic sensibility, and he never said bad words or anything. He was 33 and I was 19. Says, "Oh, you have a very interesting voice. I heard you say here when they were taking roll call." And he said, "I saw you doing back handsprings in the chorus line." And then we had lunch, and he goes, "You would be good in my 1930s singing act that I'm doing in LA, because you're like a 30s girl." And then he said, "What would your stage name be?" And I go, "I don't know." And he goes, "Well, what's your real name?" And I go, "Victoria Jackson." And he goes, "Well, that's a perfect stage name." And he called SAG, and there wasn't one yet, because there can only be one in the Screen Actors Guild. And so he kind of helped me get in the screen. Oh, no, I couldn't get in the Screen Actors Guild yet. I hadn't done a SAG movie yet. But he said my name should be my name. And so then he says, "I want to fly you to LA." I go, "Well, you better ask my parents, because I'm 19. And so then he called my parents, and they said, "Okay, you can go to Hollywood, but just start college again in the fall." I'm like, they don't have any money. Auburn took me out of class and said, "You got to leave school. Your parents didn't pay your tuition." And I said, "But how can I sleep in my dorm bed tonight?" I mean, so my parents let me go to Hollywood with a strange man.
Oh.
Yeah, that mom. She said, "We trusted you. We thought you were a strong Christian." And so I got to Johnny Crawford's house. He picked me up at the airport in a 1929 Chrysler, an hour late, with a dozen roses. And he was singing these 30 songs and driving me to his Hollywood Hills home that he shared with his dad and his brother. And I get there, and I said, "Where should I sleep?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" And I go, "Well, I told you I'm a Baptist virgin." And he goes, "I thought you were kidding." Because I was doing handstands on a chair while I was telling him that. I was doing a handstand on a chair. Actually, I got to show you my statue of the thing doing it. I'll show you later.
Bob.
I have a handstand collection.
I saw it on you have it on one of your shows. It's a very intense handstand collection. It's massive. I love it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're everywhere. But I have a frog doing one on a chair. So anyway, he goes, "Oh, I thought you were kidding." He goes, "Well, why did I bring you here?" And I said, "To be in your nightclub act." And he goes, "Oh, yeah." So 3 days later, we were doing the act. That wasn't a lie. And his manager brought me some costumes, and it was a darling act. He sang 30 songs, and I first come on stage as a fan. Of course, he wrote this, an adoring fan who's 19.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, and then the bouncers drag me off. The second time I come back disguised as a vamp with a turban, and I do gymnastics in front of his face while he sings, "Temptation, you came along, da, 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 you were temptation." And then the bouncers take me off, and then I come back on at the end dressed like a boy, and it was 1980. And then he goes, "Well, who are you, son?" And I go,
"I heard you were looking for someone to help you get ready for your Hollywood parties and chauffeur."
And he goes, "Oh, yes." So he sings, "I'm putting on my top hat, da 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 da, polishing my chin, I'm going up there to an atmosphere, that's it." And while he's singing that, I'm taking off his clothes and putting on his tux, dressed as a boy. And he had boxers on and everything. It was pretty innocent. And then his top hat. And then at the end, he goes, "I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship."
Scene.
Very. So we do this at some places around Hollywood for no money. because no one pays you to do anything in LA like live, because everybody wants to be on stage.
Right.
And then Dolores Robinson, Holly Robinson, Pete's mother, she saw me and said, I want to be your manager. Meanwhile, and I'm like, what does a manager do? And, managers and agents, I still don't know what they do, but.
Actually, that's a fun fact, because I didn't even know Holly Robinson, Pete's mom, was a manager. So that's kind of fun.
And she did bring me the movie Casual Sex, and I think she put the video of me on Johnny Carson in Lorne Michaels' mailbox. So she might have actually helped.
We're getting to there.
Yeah. So this is the long version.
I love it. I love all these fun facts.
Oh, good. So what happened was, meanwhile, I had 3 jobs. I got a room and board at the Kipling Retirement Hotel, where I fed old people food for room and board so I could not sleep at Johnny's. Number 2, I was a typist at the American Cancer Society. And then Johnny, he kept going to Hef's Playboy Mansion every weekend, not taking me. And I'm like, why don't you ever take me? I don't know anybody, and I'm sitting here in the retirement home. And he goes, I don't want you to change. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, every girl who goes to the Playboy Mansion changes their name, starts drinking and smoking, and gets breast implants. And I said, I won't change. So he started taking me, and I discovered alcohol because the bartender gave me every drink. I said, what does a margarita taste like? What does the pina colada taste like? And it was all free. And he would tell me jokes, because I didn't like movie night. I didn't like most of the movies, and I didn't like the pinball machines, and I wasn't sleeping with anyone. And, and then I noticed all the skinny girls smoked cigarettes. So I go, well, I should probably try that so I can be thinner, because I'm not thin enough for Hollywood. I didn't change my name, but Johnny was kind of right. It sort of gradually started, Meanwhile, I thought, I said, Johnny, how do I get an agent? And he goes, I don't even have an agent. I don't know. And I go, well, so I thought if I could do stand-up comedy, I could have people looking at me, and they might not like my set, but they might say, oh, she would be good airhead on the sitcom. So I started to try to make up an act. Now, meanwhile, Johnny was asked to be in a play at the Variety Arts Center by his friend Patrick Culleton, who wrote a spoof of Hamlet called Hamlet's Last Act. And Mr. Whipple, the Charmin toilet paper actor, he was in it, and John Barrymore III was in it, Drew Barrymore's real dad. And she was like 2, and she was running around the stage with her mom, Ildiko, Jade. And I think it was before she did ET. And I'm like, oh, John Barrymore. Oh. And I said, Johnny, I want to audition. And he goes, Victoria, they don't have any part for you. Meanwhile, the Queen Gertrude quit. It was Errol Flynn's daughter, Rory Flynn, and she quit. Right? Am I talking too much?
Oh, I'm fascinated by this, because it's, everybody wants to know about Hollywood and the stories behind the story. And so for me, I watched you on SNL. I loved you. I thought, this is a person that stands out to me. And so to hear how you've got to no, you're not talking too much at all. I'm loving this, loving it. I have more questions, but yes.
Okay. So a couple days before the play, Johnny said he didn't want to be in it. The Queen quit, Rory Flynn, and they called Johnny. Does your girlfriend or whatever she is want to, So I went to audition, and Johnny said, why don't you do it the Shakespeare in an Edith Bunker accent, because it's supposed to be a spoof. And I said, he said, a Brooklyn accent. And I said, I don't know how. And he goes, Edith Bunker, oh, watchy, boy, the way Glenn Miller played. And I go, okay.
Wow. That is a good, oh my gosh. I watched that show. That's fantastic.
Good show. So I did it like this. Hamlet, my son, how is it that the clouds still hang on thee? Do not forever with thy veiled lid seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity. So I did it like that. They gave me the part. And then I'm doing the part. Oh yes, John Barrymore II was Drew Barrymore's father. He was like homeless, alcoholic, barefoot. He came to see his son, John Barrymore III, one night. I said, there's a homeless guy in my dressing room. Because I didn't know who he was. And they're like, oh, that's John Barrymore. Oh, yeah. So play was very cute. While we're doing the play, the owner of the Variety Arts Center, who also owns the Magic Castle on Franklin, Carson, came up to me and said, Victoria, we're looking for a cigarette girl, and you're like a 30s girl. And we have a 30s club on the roof garden. Would you like to be the cigarette girl? So at night, I did my cigarette girl job, cigarettes, cashews, and
this down 1 second because can you write that down, cigarette girl? There's a photo of her on her website. I'd love to put it on edit it in, because it's adorable. It's adorable.
It was a fun job.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I could wear high heels for 5 hours, because I can't wear them now. They kill me. But oh my goodness, I did a back handspring in high heels every night. I would put my tray down. After the fire eater and the tap dancer from Israel, I would get up there, and everybody got to do like 3 minutes who worked there. And the audience was older people listening to the classics, 30s. And I would do my 3 minutes and trying to figure out how to make it a stand-up comedy act. How do you do it? I didn't know how to write jokes like Seinfeld. I wasn't brilliant like that. So I got my ukulele, my gymnastics. I held a handstand for a really long time and said a poem. That was my gimmick that got me on Johnny Carson. So what happened was every night I'm doing my act for 2 years. And in the middle of that 2 years, I had a nervous breakdown because I was dating a non-Christian fire eater from the club. And he gave me my first marijuana, and I felt super guilty, drinking vodka and everything. I felt, yes. And then there was the sex thing. And so I felt so much guilt and shame. I had a nervous breakdown, and I went back to Miami to my parents and watched the 700 Club every morning and was a secretary at an accountant place. And the fire eater kept calling me, come back to Hollywood, I miss you. But he would only talk for 1 minute to save money. So, because he had no money. And anyway, I did eventually go back to Hollywood. I lost 20 pounds at my parents on the powder diet. And my gay friend from Auburn volunteered to drive back with me. He said, he came to Miami and he said, Victoria, you belong in Hollywood. I will drive back with you. You have to go back. Destiny. I was doing flip-flops at the accountant's office and they didn't get it. They didn't like it. They didn't laugh. They didn't clap. They were like, who hired her?
Oh my God. The accountant's office.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
was like, I didn't fit in.
Well.
And in LA, the Variety Arts Center thought I was a genius. She's doing a poem upside down, They were so nice to me there. So my friend, Glenn, he got in my little starlet car and he drove all the way back across the country with me. Sweet. And then I went back to the Variety Arts, and the next month, the Tonight Show talent scout happened to be there to see Maureen Murphy from Australia doing her act. Now, her act was a little dirty, and my act was not. And after we finished that night, our little act, the Tonight Show talent scout came up to me and said, would you like to be on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson? And I said,
would I?
What do you think I've been doing this stupid thing for 2 years for? I was, the audience was helping me know what they liked and what they didn't like. And about 6 minutes then. So went on the Tonight Show, February 1983, and Johnny liked my act, so they asked me back. And I said to the talent scout, Jim McCauley, I said, I only have my B material. And he goes, that's okay, do that. Johnny wants you to sit on the couch next to him. And then Johnny was laughing and stuff. So then they
There's
went.
photos of that on her site too. They're great. I love them.
Yeah. So then he wanted me the third time. And then Jim McCauley goes, it's got to be something really big. And I said, really big? I have no more material. And I thought, I know. I'll do a song on the balance beam. No one's ever done that. And so I went back to a gym, worked out. I was like 23 and I hadn't really done gymnastics since 18. So, and you peak at 14. So I went back, I worked out at this gym, and they said they didn't want me to sue them if I got hurt. So Jim McCauley went to the gym and told the coach that he kind of lied to them, I think. He said, if you let her work out here to get her routine back, we'll let you your team be on the Tonight Show. But he never did let their team be on the Tonight Show.
Oh, that's not a man of his word.
But that's okay. I mean, I don't have anything to do. I mean, maybe they couldn't think of a funny way to use them. Yeah. You can't just do flips. It's like, oh, you're doing flips. I don't know. I don't know. But I thought Jim, he signed something that I wouldn't sue or something. And then I was working out on the beam. I got a lot of my tricks back. Then I wrote this song called Angry Woman. Need a little love. I am an angry woman. Yeah. And I based it on, I think Billy Joel had Angry Young Man out then. And there was punk rock was in style then. And so anyway, Jim McCauley sent me to Vancouver and London. To Vancouver first to try it out and see if I was going to fall and kill myself on the 4-inch balance beam while I was singing. I did it in Vancouver. And so then they put me on the Tonight Show, and it's on YouTube, I think, in black and white. And I think McCauley got me a black and white copy so that he knew in the future NBC would own the color copy or something, maybe legally. I think he was doing me a favor. He was so nice to me. He told me, if you put a poem to music, you can make more money, even if you only know 3 chords. So all my poems became songs on the uke. And I mean, I never did make $1 million on my songs, but I'm still waiting for that. But anyway, so long story short, Johnny liked me. So he had me on about 3 times a year. So 83 to 86, I'm doing that. 86, 85, I married the fire eater because I felt guilty that I slept with him. About 84, and 86, we had a baby named Scarlett, and she was 3 months old. And I was doing a truck commercial because I was the breadwinner. And someone said, you want to audition for Saturday Night Live? They called me at home. It didn't even go through an agent. I was like, I didn't say how'd you get my number or anything. I'm like, oh, okay. And they go, okay, be at LAX tomorrow at 8 a.m. and bring all your characters. And I was like, okay. They go, ticket will be waiting for you. I don't know how they got my number. That they saw me on Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
I wasn't in an improv group. I wasn't in the Groundlings. I didn't know improv. I was doing the stand-up act for 2 years, sometimes at the Comedy Store and the improv. But I guess it's a small world and people talk or something. So then I had this baby, and then the fire eater babysat her, and I flew to New York. We were living in Laurel Canyon with money from my first TV job, which was Half Nelson with Joe Pesci, which got canceled after 6 weeks. But anyway, so I flew to New York, and 12 other women were flown there, and we auditioned in the Phil Donahue studio. And Wow. It was Lauren sitting with a bowl of popcorn and a beautiful 20-year-old, we called them the Lornettes. She was running the video camera for our audition. And it was just her and him and the popcorn. And then I did my 6 minutes from Johnny Carson in my French maid costume that I wore as the cigarette girl for the last 2 or 3 years. And so then they called me at the hotel and they said, Lauren wants to see you tomorrow. So we're changing your flight to leave one more day later. And so I was having separation anxiety dreams from my baby, who was only 3 months old. And the first night I was there, they lost my uke on the airplane. I had no characters, and all I had was a handstand and ukulele, and they lost it. So, but then they found it in the middle of the night. I don't know. So then, go to Lauren's office after you have to wait for hours. And the funny part is, I said, when should I meet with him? And they said, anytime after 3. And I'm like, well, what time? I mean, like, what does that mean?
That's random.
Yeah, meet with Lauren in his office at 30 Rock anytime after 3. So I was like 3:01, and like, so I get there at 3, and I'm not there yet, and the secretary goes, why don't you just kill time like in Soho or something? And I go, is that a department store? Because I didn't know New York at all. So she goes, so I just walked out the door, walked around, came back about 3:45. And I'm sitting there next to A. Whitney Brown. And he goes, oh, yeah, you always have to wait for Lauren an hour or more because he's very important. So we're sitting there talking. And so finally I get into Lauren's office and he goes, so Victoria. Now I'm doing an impression of Dana Carvey doing an impression of Lauren Michaels. So your audition was very funny. Just wondering if you're strong in characters and impressions. And he asked me if, he says, so I see you're married and you just had a baby. Mm-hmm. The fire eater. He works about once a year. There's not much call for fire. He makes about $100 a year. Yeah, it's not his income tax return.
Oh my God.
But he did play the piano really good, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
And
Silver lining.
Yeah. So then it was a very short interview, and he starts walking me to the door to leave. And I go, well, I can talk like that. And I go, I could do a character who talks like this, And he's like, he goes, well, what if I wanted you to be like a Midwestern housewife? And I said, well, I am a housewife, and my parents are from the Midwest. And he goes, or Diane Keaton. I go, oh, if I was Diane Keaton, I would wear men's clothes and look at the ground a lot.
He laughed. Tell me he laughed, because that's funny.
He didn't really laugh that much.
Oh my God.
And so then he's like, okay, thank you. And I'm flying home. I'm like, man, I was so close, but I don't think I got it. And then I realized I was going to be on Johnny Carson in 2 weeks for my visit. And I always had to come up with something to talk about, right? The pre-interview, like, think of something funny to talk about. So I go, I know, I'll ask Jim McCauley if I can continue my audition for Lauren Michaels on Johnny Carson. I did, and he goes, yes, you can. Just don't say the name of the shows. We don't want to get sued or anything. I said, okay. So I, for 2 weeks, while I was vacuuming and being a mother, I was watching VHSs of Tina Turner, Diane Keaton, trying to learn how to do impressions of people. And I realized I'm terrible. I'm terrible at it. But I thought, if you make people laugh, that's the point. So what if you do it badly, but you make them laugh? That's the point. So I went on Johnny Carson, and I have this clip in my little documentary I made for sale on my website called The Only Show in Town. I have this little clip in this pink dress, showing Johnny Carson that I could do impressions of characters. So Johnny goes, I hear you're auditioning for a show and they want you to do characters impressions. I go, yeah. I said, can I do some and you guess who they are? And he goes, yeah. So I go, Foxy, I'm sorry, boy, the way Glenn Miller. Oh, Edith Bunker. Yes. Okay. I don't know why I'm here. Just go to a commercial. I don't have anything to say. I just go to Terry Garr. Yes. She used to do that. And then I go, what's love got to do with it? What? And I did the little dance, the little dance. And he goes, Tina Turner. I go, yeah. And then I go,
so, John, why do you want to work for my company?
And then he goes, I don't know, Betty Davis? And I go, no. And he goes, well, who is it? And I go, I made her up. It's a character that I made up. And then everybody laughed so hard. Johnny laughed so hard, and he goes, how am I supposed to guess if you made her up? But see, I had never seen Saturday Night Live, and I just knew they made up characters. You know what? It took me 30 years, and I finally figured out what Saturday Night Live is. I finally figured it out. When I went to film school, I figured it out. I just... No. Well, yes. You know what they're mostly doing? They're making fun of TV.
Yes.
Because when it started, I kept going, why does everything, a show, like the Chris Farley show, the cooking show, this show, that show. I go, and why is everything, they make fun of commercials, they make fun of award shows, they make fun of talk shows, Phil Donahue, they make fun of TV. They make fun of TV. And when it started in 75, TV was a new thing, it was kind of a new thing.
Sure.
And they're making fun of the news. Update is making fun of the news.
And so did Lorne Michaels call you himself when he finally decided to hire you, or did somebody else call you? No.
What happened was I finished that show, and I just knew I got it. And I said to Dolores Robinson, I go, what if Lorne Michaels doesn't see it? I mean, and she goes, I'm VHS and put it in his mailbox or something. She found out he was in LA in a hotel, put it in his mailbox, I think. About 2 weeks later, I get a call on my Kermit the Frog phone. Kermit's leg. You take the receiver off of Kermit the Frog's foot. And it goes, hello, this is Dynamina, which is like a cartoon. It's a cartoon name, but it's Minot, and she's related to this author with that. And she says, this is Dynamina, and congratulations, you're in the cast of Saturday Night Live. There'll be a ticket waiting for you at 8 a.m. tomorrow at LAX. It's like Mission Impossible, where the smoke comes out of the...
Are you kidding? I would have been on the floor. That's amazing.
I went like this. Oh, thank you. Bye. And then I went, ah! Yes. And it was 10 at night. 10 at night LA time. Yeah. And my baby started crying because I screamed, and my fire reader vomited. He threw up on the bed because it was just such a shock, I mean, this is stressful. So we packed diapers and baby bottles and Laley, and the next day we were in New York for 6 years, back and forth. And I still don't ever know, exactly how I got it, exactly.
Well, your talent speaks for itself, and you have a specific character in and of itself. Just being you, you have this, light. It's amazing. And one of the things, though, there's two things I want to touch on, and to that story is your daughter spent a lot of time in the green room, and she talked a little bit about in one of her videos that she would sometimes be fearful of that there were no peanut butter and jelly packets, but she said, but there always were. That was what she was thinking when she would go kind of hang out on the show. I bet she's got some great stories. But I want to just transition because that's a great story. Victoria, that's a really great story. I'm a huge SNL fan, and I watched it when you were on it. a lot because you just brought another element to the show. But there's something that you said, and I'm going to quote you. You said, because I know I could probably speak for you in this case. I could ask you what your favorite job is, but I would almost be certain you'd say being a mother to your beautiful girls. And you said that you're proud. You said, I'm proud to be the tree the apple didn't fall far from. That's beautiful.
I don't remember saying that. I said that?
Yeah, you said, I'm proud to be the tree the apple didn't fall far from. It's on your site. And that's the most beautiful thing. Yes. I know. I think that, as moms and all that we do and work-wise and all these stories and in the industry, the entertainment industry, you can get swept away from the adoration and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I think our greatest gifts are our kids, and we learn the most lessons from them. I certainly have. And it certainly has given me a purpose and a plan, like God says in Jeremiah 29:11, right? For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not harm you, to give you hope and a future. And so, well done, good and faithful servant, I'll say to you, because I've watched your daughters and they just seem like lovely women, and they're...
Well, they love Jesus, and it means so much to me because the culture is so strong to go against Jesus, and they saw all my sins, all my weaknesses. Both of them are not crazy about show business because they saw the dark side.
Yeah.
It's mostly the dark side. It's mostly where's my next check and all of the games and everything. But and my husband and I had a lot of fighting, a lot of tension. We're so different. He's a cop. I mean, I've known him since we were 12. High school sweethearts, but when we got reunited, he wasn't the high school guy. He was a guy with SWAT team, machine guns, helicopter, and we're so different. And my daughters saw us always fighting, but what touches my heart is that they knew we both loved Jesus, and we both read the Bible, and we went to church. And we asked God to forgive us, and we kept trying to follow the Lord. And it touches me that they saw through all of the
noise. Yes.
Noise. And they saw, oh, Mommy and Daddy taught us that Jesus is the rock. And that's where we stand. And they're both happily married, love the Lord, go to church, go to Bible studies. And it's really from their heart. So I'm very proud of that. That's probably what I meant about the tree. I don't remember saying that. But
no, it's beautiful. And you actually wrote a song for your husband, which I watched. And I text Bob. I know we're going to wrap up soon. But I text Bob last night and I was like, I'm sobbing. I'm watching your song that you sing about your husband. It's so beautiful and cute and funny. And you're on the porch. And it was just a beautiful...
I was bald because of cancer.
Yeah.
Cancer.
Yeah, you have a book called Lavender Hair that you wrote about your cancer journey. Yeah. No, it's beautiful. I love the song. Yeah, maybe we can play a little bit of it on the...
It's called Lavender Hair.
Yeah, it's really great. I could talk to you all day, and hopefully we can have you back on. We're going to wrap this episode up, but I have 3 things I have to talk to you about. Is I'm reading this because I'm terrible. 3 words that describe yourself. You. 3 words that describe you.
That's too hard. 3 words. That's too hard.
Yes, that's a good one. Oh, maybe is your mom there? Could she tell us 3 words? I see her in the back there.
Hey, Mom, are you awake? She's listening to you. She's listening.
I just love that she's been there. I felt her presence.
She knows this whole story so well. Hey, Mom, do you have 3 words that describe me?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh my goodness, that's 3 words.
It's 3 words. I'll tell you 3 that describe my mom.
Okay.
No, that's 2 words. Innocent. Faithful. Honest.
Isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful. Okay, so we do this little Rorschach test.
See, this little Rorschach. The Rorschach test.
The
Like one of the most
Rorschach
common
test.
psychiatric tests out there.
It's an ink blot test. We get your immediate reaction. We're changing our pictures next week, but
Get with the negativity.
I'm not. I'm prefacing this for Mrs. Jackson, who I've absolutely had the best time with today. So I'm going to pull up an ink blot, and then you're just going to give us our quick, immediate.
First thing you see.
First thing you see. Okay.
Two old ladies screaming at each other.
Okay.
2 elephants climbing up some kind of plant.
You're the first person that's caught the same thing I did.
Everybody says elephants.
No, they don't. That's you and I are simpatico. Okay.
2 bears in clown costumes.
That's one.
A clown doing a handstand.
I love her.
Oh, that's the face of a man with a big nose and a goatee and a mustache.
Yes, or a fox. Okay, and my last question, but hopefully we'll have you again because I've really enjoyed our time together. You've made my day, and I'm just so honored and grateful to have you today. You have no idea. This is a silly question, but who is your celebrity crush?
Ooh, that's a sin.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be like you're crushing on a man. It's like, well, I guess we could reword that.
Is it a sin to have a crush?
Well, you can't lust after somebody. It's
can
not
like somebody.
really a lust. It's like we've had people say, "Oh, I like."
Roger Federer.
Yeah, like a tennis pro or
I'll
whatever.
tell you who I love. Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, here. Absolutely. I
Right.
saw him in concert. He played for 3 hours and had 19 costume changes.
Really?
He puts on a great show.
Does he really?
He tours. You look at the tour dates on the back of a T-shirt. He tours like 4 days a week, like nonstop all through the year.
Wow.
Yeah, he's one of the hardest working musicians.
And he's a genius, and he has a pure soul.
Oh, I love that. See, it's not a crush. I guess we should reword that. It's more of like who, you admire. Now, did I read this on your site? I just want to know what you're doing now. And you were going to London to do a play, or did you already do that?
Oh, that sounds exciting.
No? Oh.
What I did was I've been very bored since my kids left home, and I'm an empty nester, and I'm politically conservative, so Hollywood's kind of mad at me. Like everything they say at the Grammys, I'm the opposite. I mean, the Oscars, whatever. Everything they say and do, I'm the opposite. So they hate me. So I've been so bored. So I write songs all the time and everything, but I'm like, I'm going crazy. So I went back to college and I got my master's in film. I learned how to edit, and I wrote my first screenplay last year called Jane Blonde Saves the World One Mistake at a Time. And I wrote the role for me because no one else is writing me a role. And I made the poster, and I'm to the Cannes Film Festival in a week, pitch it, and to get some investors, and I'm going to shoot some exteriors, and then when I come back to America, shoot the interiors. And if I don't get investors, I'm going to make the movie myself because I love it and I believe in it. And so that's keeping me and all my own music is in it, and that's keeping me very busy.
Well, we will be lifting that up in prayer. I believe in you, and I support you. And I wrote the title down because if you can send us a picture of the poster, we'll put it in here.
It's on my website. It's on my website under productions.
Okay. By the way, your website is victoriajackson.com. And I'll say this, it is the most developed website I have been to. It is so well done, and you have so much information that I spent days, weeks going through it and sifting through it, and it's fascinating and it's beautiful, and I love it. So thank you for compiling all of your work, and it's in one location. It's in victoriajackson.com. We will be following you. I love you so much. I can't thank you for taking the time today. Big giant hug and kiss to your mom back there, the pure, innocent, lovely one. And I hopefully will have you on again when you've made this movie. And I would literally come and just serve food on the set to be there and in your presence. What?
You'll be craft
I'll
services?
be craft services. I don't care. I would just love to meet you someday formally in person and give you a big hug. But I'll give you a virtual hug from me to you. I love you. Thank you so much for being a light in this world.
You touched my heart so much. You just poured love all over me, and I needed love right now, and I really appreciate it.
Well, I do love you, and I thank you for all that you've done and that you do. And so we will stay connected for sure. So thank you for coming on the show today.
Hey, Cory, would you play my best friend in my movie?
Yes. Done. Yes. Yes. Yes, I will.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And we're out.
Hi, guys. I'm Cory Oliver, and thank you for watching The Coriolis Effect. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode. Here are some more episodes you might enjoy. Hit the subscribe button below, and have a great day.